Ghana where development does not leave vulnerable people behind is what we need. In a Ghana where every citizen understands that they have a role to play in shaping the future. Distinguished guests, let us make this conference a turning point. Let our discussions be frank. Let our ideas be practical. Let our partnerships be meaningful. And let our commitments be measurable. As Metro TV, we believe that media can ignite these conversations. And this is the spirit behind the Clean Conference. I therefore encourage all participants to engage openly, challenge ideas respectfully, share experiences, and most importantly, identify solutions that can be implemented. Let us work together to ensure that the SDGs become more than global commitments written in policy documents. Let them become visible improvements in lives of ordinary Ghanaians. And let us build a culture where cleanliness, sustainability, accountability, and responsible citizenship become part of our national character. And let us all ensure that when Ghana reaches 2030, we can look back and say that we did not merely talk about sustainable development, we acted. Original TV, Original FM, and Metro Digital, I thank you once again for joining us and for believing in the importance of this conversation. Together, let us build a cleaner, healthier, more inclusive, and sustainable Ghana. Thank you very much, and you are all welcome.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. We are grateful for this conference. Let's have our guests to sit down so that we have little movement. Yes. We will reintroduce ourselves, welcome you, give some acknowledgements, and then we will put into perspective how the day is going to look like. I think that is only fair that we let you know what to expect. I promise you it's going to be painless and very purposeful. It's taken us a long time to get here. Permit me to reintroduce myself. My name is Dr. Abna Nyakwas Menin. I am a leadership and sustainability practitioner. I want to emphasize the sustainability practitioner, so I have a stake in this. I am particularly interested in the outcomes of this inaugural conference and what we will do with the outcomes. It should not remain only on paper. We have enough policies as is. Now we have only 3 years left. 2030 is just at the corner. No longer an ambition. Now it's a deadline. I want to, because we have a varied audience, I would want to talk a little about or mention a few of the themes in the SDGs that we are going to focus on. And the effort is for you to take something, an actionable commitment with you today. As we go on with this one, we have a tall list of people to acknowledge, permit me, and we are taking our time a little bit because of the delay. Now, we will be talking about SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, SDG 12, which is responsible consumption and production, and one which is not on paper technically for us to discuss, but one that underpins all the discussions we are going to have, is the SDG 13, which is climate action. It is our responsibility to make sure that we've achieved some key milestones with these SDGs. We will immediately switch to acknowledgements. That is a tall list, so it will be between my co-host and myself. We will start off with, I think you should start with the tall list.
Right.
Then, yeah.
Right, so a lot of institutions are here. Thank you so much for heeding to our call. We've been with you from the beginning, placing calls that you should be around for this all-important conference. So I'll just go through a number of the organizations we invited for this important conversation. The Ghana Immigration Service, thank you so much for coming. If they're not yet here, I'm sure as my co-host mentioned, there's so much traffic in town. They should be joining us very soon. Chartered Institute or Chartered Insurance Institute Ghana, thank you for coming. Forestry Commission, Water Resources Commission, the Dean of Legon Environmental Department Studies, University of Ghana, Friends of Rivers and Water Bodies, Sustainability and Social Impact Award organizers, and of course, Dinah from Contract Cleaners Association. I can see her team. Hello, Contract Cleaners. Okay, so thank you so much for coming. Solid Waste Association, Jospon Next Gen, Environmental Service Providers Association, also here. ESPA. Oh, thank you, ESPA. Thank you so much. Oh, and I'm not being discriminatory. And but if I mention the name and you are here, please, you wave so we can see you. Thank you so much. And we have the University of Media Arts and Communication, UNIMAC. Okay. We also have the Greater Accra Regional Minister, who will be represented by a guest that my co-host would talk about in a bit. WaterAid Ghana, thank you. Also, the National Health Insurance Authority. We also have the bus stop. Okay, right. Thank you so much for coming. That's the National Health Insurance Authority. Bus stop boys. Oh, there you are. Thank you very much for coming, bus stop boys. We appreciate your presence here. The Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation. And of course, the next one, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to put your hands together for Zoom Lion Ghana Limited. Right, Zoom Lion. As for this one, I can be biased because we are part of Zoom Lion in all of this, right? And ASWAM, the African Institute of Sanitation and Waste Management, ASWAM. Okay, we also have the Plastic Manufacturers Association. Okay, thank you very much for coming. The Bola Taxi and Tricycle Operators Association. Oh, you're here. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your presence. It's a tall list. Let me just do a few more. World Vision Ghana. Okay. WaterAid Ghana. Okay, I think I've mentioned GH Schools. Thank you so much helping us. Okay, there they are. Thank you so much, GH Schools, for coming around. WASH Journalist Network. Right, and we also have the African Environmental and Sanitation Consult, the Climate Communication Africa on Decentralization, okay, and we have Commercial and Allied Services of the Jospon Group. As for this one also, please, a round of applause for CAS. Hey, if you don't do it well, we'll be, thank you very much. I see you, Madam Dora. And also we have the Ewutu Senya East Assembly. We invited a number of the assemblies if they're here. Right, so thank you very much. And also we have joining us multiple award-winning Ghanaian musician, rapper, medical, Mr. Edu Frimpong. He's not yet here. Okay. He's also joining us for this very important conference here. So this is just half of the list I have here of all of the amazing guests that we have invited to be here. As the program continues, I'll definitely continue with the appreciation of all of our guests here. Thank you very much.
I will continue with a few confirmed guests. Some we see here, some who are on their way coming. We would want to say a big thank you, welcome to the Chief of Staff, Dr. Deborah, once again. We have Ambassador Frederick Landshoft. I hope I have not crucified your name, but Landshoft, German Ambassador to Ghana. Reverend Inokna Thompson, Chairman, Christian Council. Thank you, sir. Sheikh Amiya Oshaibu, spokesperson to the National Chief Imam. Yes, sir. We have Ama A. Oforientry, Executive Secretary of ESPA. Diana Tanihu, Executive Secretary, Contract Cleaners Association. Jacqueline Afo, Managing Director of Appointed Time Printing. Greater Accra Regional Minister, who is represented by Honorable Christian Tete Baja, MCE for Okaikwe North. Yes, sir. We continue. Know that we are all not important. Everybody is important, but we must make mention of few. We also have Dr. Gameli Huadrafi, who is the Executive Secretary, Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, Office of the President. We have Mr. Darrell Bosu, Rocha Ghana, he's the Deputy Director. We have Emmanuel Krobia Asante, Joe Trust Limited. We also have Dr. Kobina Abaka Ansa, Statistical Service. It's a tall list, but we are going to pause a little bit and play a little documentary for us. Media, I hope we are ready. Yes. Oh, I see myself. Yes, I'm going to get out of your sight, and then we will get a documentary to be shown.
Makola Market is more than just a marketplace. It is one of the busiest commercial centers in Ghana and a vital part of the country's economic life. But beneath the noise, movement and daily transactions lies a serious sanitation challenge, from discarded food, plastic packaging, and other waste generated by traders and shoppers to congested drains and improperly disposed refuse. The market presents a complex picture of commerce meeting environmental responsibility.
And so I'm inside, no matter what you ball, no. Free CMB, Santamanto. I'm I don't have to see Benku. Any I did not put the above before. Every day, there is nothing you have a banana area. When it is, and I can to have been a ball at the beer.
In Accra, rain means trouble, choked gutters, and overflowing dams cause sudden floods that submerge markets and roads, push garbage and stench into communities, and raise the risk of disease like cholera and malaria. Trade stops, traffic locks, and by the time crews cleared, the next rain hits. Nowhere shows this better than Ondona, right around the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange.
The problem is the dredging. You understand? They're supposed to make it every year. They're supposed to dredge the place every year so that people can feel comfortable, so that when it rains, it won't be flood. But when they leave it like 1 year, 2 years, normally, you see this place, the outdoor is the 16 feet deep. 16 feet. But look at where you are standing. It's almost about 3 feet. So what are they doing about this? The government is supposed to do something about this.
Ghana's coastline is blessed with beautiful beaches that attract residents, tourists, and businesses. Yet, the beauty of these coastal spaces is increasingly threatened by poor waste management, plastic bottles, sachet, and more. How does waste get there, and who is responsible for managing it?
Bola lolly baby and no guy what bola and make a bola lolly but don't have to take a low ball and what bear what about ball at time. As I want a ball at time, but one not many by one no get the shilebi, you can't be let school as Mamma Balo can let the bush. Mamma Beba local bola near. I got one woman was Glachani, a disturb or one you are Glachani, Nana. Bola soon off it up better. They follow. Last one point is an very well. I come children hospital. Yeah, for 2 months, 3 months. Yeah, Jim, I joke about for the Cheshako 2 months. Nimban Chuene. One machine, no one call no fight. I'm a quest. Ninu Chumo, I'm a hell. Woman will be a new watch. I can't yes, I know it. Can be a fair for one woman or town of a couple more than.
Maybe since I don't know what it says. Your baby be a best problem now. Bola don't come see, sir, Atakwashi Bridge. Woman, who first say Atakwashi Bridge, 1 more foot bridge or the net be as a daddy. Yadi daddy be a cover. What I said, into we are now a few turbano. A chokana machine, a baby. What I said, me plan.
The printing industry plays an important role in business, education, advertising, publishing, and everyday life. But with printing comes paper of cards, packaging materials, ink containers, and other forms of industrial waste. Printing institutions therefore sit at an important intersection between economic activity and environmental responsibility.
So here we generate what we call hazardous waste and non-hazardous waste. The hazardous waste is an example of the paper we produce and the waste that comes out of the paper production. So how do we generate or dispose of the waste from the paper? The waste from the paper goes to tissue buying companies. So that is what they use mostly in the tissues that you find in your home. So that is how our waste from the paper is disposed.
While sanitation remains a major national challenge, there are also individuals and groups refusing to simply complain about the problem. The Bus Stop Boys have become known for taking practical action by cleaning public spaces and mobilizing people around environmental responsibility. Their work represents a growing culture of volunteerism and community-led sanitation, particularly among young people. Every day, tons of waste are generated in homes, markets, offices, businesses, and public spaces across Ghana. But after the waste is collected, where does it actually go? The Zoom Park Waste Transfer Center provides an important link in the waste management chain, receiving and handling waste before it moves to its next destination.
When we collect the waste, it doesn't end there. We have to go through the treatment, the processing, everything before we can say that waste has been treated. We don't have transfer stations, we don't have recycling plants, we don't have enough final disposal sites. So for Ghana to get there, right now we have about 6 transfer stations in Accra that is being operational by just one group of companies. We are looking at least every MMDA having a transfer station because there are influx of aboboya in the system. And we can't do anything about the aboboyas now. Now we have to encourage them and give them the opportunity, a better place for them to dump so that they don't dump in the drains, they don't dump at unauthorized places.
I say, Yamfa Bolambasia. A groom, dear, promise, Yamfa Bolamba, Nabaku, Mala, Mapa, until Mama, Tisiano, a hanum of Rampo, a hanum, and mean Jena. A dosh, hanum, Jena. You don't be a car, you have a dumping. Dumping your internet, you might have some will be a pet, no more to say, Abia or Bia, or Abuja. Yeah, Casanga Sampone, yes,
From the crowded lanes of Makola Market to the shores of Ghana's beaches, from waste transfer centers to printing houses and volunteer-led cleanup activities, one message is clear: Ghana's sanitation challenge cannot be blamed on one group alone. with these different pieces of the sanitation puzzle, the difficult question is, what will it take for Ghana to move from periodic cleanup exercises to a lasting culture of cleanliness, responsible waste management, and environmental protection? Your guess is as good as mine. Structures.
This production is by the production team at Ignite Media Group. Please, let's acknowledge him. Acknowledge him. Next, we are going to have a number of goodwill messages, and then there are different batches. So pardon us, we would come in little bits. Then we will have how the day looks like. The goodwill messages will come, a few more documentaries to tell you. It's difficult to imagine how critical the problem is. And that's how come we have to show you these visuals, is to prompt us to act, to have healthy discussions, to understand that the case of Ghana, yes, whilst we are making great strides, we have a lot more to do. We will, in the end, the second part will give us, we will have a panel, 2 panel discussions. The first would be, under the theme, is a national assessment, governance and partnership. But the focus will be taking stock of where Ghana stands and how government, the private sector and development partners must work together to close the gap. You know, the actions on all these environmental SDGs cannot be done alone. So we are going to have, and these people have been selected, very well selected. They are experienced. They will create the picture that we must see and then tell us what we must all do. We are all accountable. We will have a second panel under the theme, the everyday realities of water and sanitation access for households, communities, and schools. It's important, I know that, was it earlier this week on one of the radio shows, a household head was very upset about the fact that they have to pay water bill and yet they don't have any water coming through. These are some of the realities. And then when Ghana Water comes, Ghana Water will come and explain to us that they are not having access to water that they can process for us to have. It's a lot of issues. Right. We are going to invite to upstage the ambassador, Frederick Landshoft, German ambassador, to give us his goodwill. Let's clap for him. I don't know if you want to use this. Yeah.
Honorable Dr. Julius Debra, Chief of Staff, His Royal Majesty King Taki Taiku Tsuru II, Ga Manche, and President of the Ga Traditional Council, honorables, colleagues from civil society, academia, media, government authorities, business, and the cleric, friends from Ignite Media Group, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I was born and raised in Krefeld on the River Rhine, right next to the Ruhr region along the industrial heart of Germany. When I was a child, I dreamed of swimming in that great river flowing right in front of me. But the Rhine was heavily polluted. We were told not to swim in it. The fish were dead, the river was dead. Today, the Rhine is a different river. The fish have returned, people even swim in it again, life has returned. A childhood dream has come true. And the River Rhine is not alone. We see encouraging signs of recovery all over the world. In the Yangtze in China, along parts of the Ganges in India, different rivers, different countries, different challenges. Yet they demonstrate one important fact. Action works. Water bodies can recover. Being aware of that matters because globally we are not moving fast enough. In 2015, the world made a promise through the SDGs. By 2030, everyone should have access to safe water and sanitation, for instance, not as a privilege, as a human right. We are now less than 4 years away from that deadline, and the world is not on track to achieve SDG 6, 7, and 11, and unfortunately not even close. So the question is no longer what we want to achieve someday. The question is what we are prepared to do today. And that is why this conference matters so much. Here in Ghana, water bodies remain under enormous pressure from waste and plastic pollution, and of course from the devastating effects of Galamsey. But environmental decline is not inevitable, and Ghana is taking action. Chief of Staff, Honorable Dr. Julius Deborah, let me take this opportunity to commend the government of Ghana for its renewed efforts to protect the country's water bodies and improve sanitation. Germany is proud to work alongside Ghana on this broader challenge, and this cooperation builds on many years of working together. Take e-waste here in Accra. German cooperation through GIZ has worked with Ghanaian partners on safer recycling and better e-waste management. At Old Fadama, around the Korle Lagoon, and with government institutions including the EPA, and with people and businesses whose livelihoods are part of the recycling economy. This cooperation continues to evolve. In just a few days, the German embassy, together with the EPA, will launch a new environmental diplomacy project focusing on plastic pollution. We want to provide a platform for government, businesses, and communities to exchange ideas, to raise awareness, and most importantly, to identify practical solutions together. Ladies and gentlemen, 2030 is almost here, and perhaps there's one thing the rivers I have spoken about today can remind us of. Water bodies carry more than water. They carry memories of the past. They carry the traces of what happens around them, of our industries, of our cities, and the choices we make. And over time, they can also carry the traces of change. The Rhine does, the Yangtze does, and the Ganges does. Their story may be different, but each of them reminds us that the condition of a water body is not written in stone. It can change, and sometimes life returns. Thank you very much.
Thank you Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. We are going to have two more for this round. We will have Reverend Nokna Thompson giving us a goodwill message. After that, we will have Sheikh Amir Al-Shaibu, spokesperson to National Chief Imam. Please, let's clap for Reverend.
The Chief of Staff, the Honorable Dr. Julius Zebra, a representative of the Gamman Chair, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, standing on the well-established protocols. On behalf of the Christian Council of Ghana, I'm honored to be part of this very important conference today on a theme that speaks to the living conditions of the present generation of Ghanaians and speaking into the future of our nation as a people. The considerations of the SDGs may come to us as a global body attempt to better the conditions and the lots of people, particularly the aspects of environmental cleanliness may be a developmental agenda of government. However, for us, from the perspective of the Christian faith, environmental concerns is also a moral and spiritual imperative. As Christians, our commitment to environmental cleanliness and sustainability is rooted in the biblical scriptures themselves. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, we read, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it." This passage establishes what many theologians refer to as the biblical mandate of stewardship. Psalm 24 verse 1 also says, "The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and all them that live in it." The earth belongs to God. We as human beings are not the owners of the earth. We are custodians and caretakers and stewards entrusted with its management. Our responsibility, therefore, is not merely to use creation, but to preserve, protect, nurture, and beautify it for present and future generations. Since creation belongs to God, environmental stewardship is not merely a civic responsibility, it is an act of worship. To pollute, waste, and destroy our environment is an offense at ourselves, an affront against God, and wickedness to unborn generations. To protect, restore, and nurture creation is to honor God and to give concern to our future generations. In concluding this presentation, therefore, I wish to invite all participants to consider some steps that we must take to give life to the discussions that will take place today. First, to the church. The church must make environmental stewardship part of its message. The preaching, teaching, and practice of the church must capitalize on these unfinished assignments to be custodians and stewards of the earth. May every Christian congregation become a center of environmental awareness, tree planting, proper sanitation, and responsible use of resources. Let our faith as Christian people be visible in the ways we care for God's creation. In the second place, to businesses and industries, it is our expectation and prayer that the use of the resources we engage in our production must be made with a sense of profitability with responsibility. Businesses and industries must adopt production methods that minimize waste, conserve energy, and protect ecosystems. Economic growth should never come at the cost of the environment upon which all economic activity ultimately depends. Third, to the media. We invite the media to continue to inform, to educate, and to mobilize citizens. The media has a unique power to shape attitudes, inspire actions, and hold institutions accountable for environmental commitments. Finally, it is our prayer and expectation that every Ghanaian citizen will develop a sense of environmental cleanliness, beginning with personal responsibility. The Ghana we desire will emerge when each of us commits to small but consistent actions to protect our surroundings and preserve our future. May this conference inspire renewed commitment and stronger partnerships as we work together towards a clean Ghana, sustainable cities, responsible production, and climate resilience. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great, green, and clean. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. We are grateful to you. As earlier mentioned, the theme and the focus for today is on the Sustainable Development Goals 6, 7, 12, and then 13. I added the 13. My paymaster is going to be upset, but I thought they should add 13, climate action. You cannot be talking about all the environmental sustainable development goals without the last part, which is the 13. We involved religious leaders and traditional leaders because the issues at hand, the environmental issues, the sustainability related issues, are not only a technical issue. It is a moral matter. It involves all of us, and that's how come we have distinguished men of God who are here, and we have traditional leaders who are here. On that note, I am going to have to acknowledge again the traditional leaders here. I don't have the full list, but we'll keep doing the honors. His Excellency, His Royal Highness Nikojo Ashirifi Papa Nyira I, Garmanches Rep. We acknowledge you, sir. Nananum, Nana Himam, we welcome you. At the appropriate time, we will mention your names. We also want to acknowledge University of Ghana's School of Hygiene. School of Hygiene, where are you? We want to acknowledge you. Thank you very much for being here. We know we've come to your grounds, but your presence is acknowledged, particularly because all of these, at the end of the day, ends with human lives. I want to call next to give a goodwill message, Sheikh Amiyao Shaibu, spokesperson. Please, let's clap for us if it comes. Spokesperson to the National Chief Imam.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, we give him thanks and praises. We adore and exalt his name. He is good and holy. In fullness and perfection, we ask Allah to bestow his peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad and indeed all the prophets and all those who tread on the path of righteousness to the day of judgment. The Honorable Chief of Staff, the representative of the Government Chair, great respect for you, traditional rulers here, my friends and brothers within the clergy, respected participants. Let me begin by greeting you all with Islamic greetings of love, peace, and fraternity. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much. Let me begin on a note of appreciation and thanks to the Ignite Group, including the Office of the Chief of Staff, for inviting me to make a presentation on our goodwill message on this very special occasion of the 2026 Ghana Sanitation and Clean Environment Conference. Great commendation to you for organizing this. It is a mark of good leadership and a mark of responsible citizenship and a mark of patriotism. The theme chosen, Towards a Clean Ghana, Collective Action for Sustainable Cities, Responsible Production, and Climate Resilience, could not have been chosen at a better time in the light of what we see around us, even in the most recent tragic incidents of the flooding of our country. Excellencies, the Honorable Chief of Staff, after almost 70 years of independence, it must be disturbing for all of us, even in the light of the pictures that we saw just now, that sanitation remains one of the major problems plaguing our dear nation. poor sanitation as evidenced by environmental pollution due to industrial emission, poor disposal of industrial waste, poor disposal of plastic waste, open defecation, poor disposal of domestic waste, both liquid and solid, contamination of our water bodies, disposal of waste in our gutters, particularly during the incident of rain, sale of food in close proximity to refuse dumps. The health hazards and other implications associated with these negative and destructive practices cannot be overlooked for a number of reasons. Ill health that plagues a nation makes the nation unproductive. For a nation to produce, it needs citizenry that is healthy. So, but our deteriorating health condition due to this is something that we must look at. Economic burden of governments having to procure medicine, treating avoidable diseases, major among which is malaria, typhoid, diarrhea. Ebola seemed to be far away, DR Congo, but it can come to us. Climate change and its hazards. All these, poor sanitation weakens and undermines our potential for tourism. Most of the time we have made reference to Rwanda. It appears something good is happening there, and it's a tourist attraction. What is it that attracts people to Ghana, and what is it that can drive them away by way of tourism potentials? It is on a good side that when our tourists are coming, we show them these pictures. The Honorable Chief of Staff, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is in the light of these and other related issues that a conference like this on sanitation must be commended. Not only commended, but encouraged, and indeed practiced on a sustained basis. The mind that appreciates, the mind and the spirit that appreciates beauty does not destroy and does not accept and embrace filth and squalor. And so, therefore, this fight must begin in the mind. As we bring up our children and citizenry, how do we bring up children, and including those who grow to become adults, that they appreciate the God-given beauty, that when we appreciate beauty, we then destroy, that our set will reject filth and squalor. In that case, once we are alive with that consciousness, we will not litter indiscriminately. And when we see others littering, we will direct that the proper behavior must be done. So let's build a mindset of cleanliness and environmental consciousness among citizenry, and this must be a collective responsibility. Speaking from an Islamic point of view, say cleanliness, if you permit me just to make a point, I'll say this in Arabic. An-nazafa min al-iman. It's a tradition associated or attributable to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that cleanliness is part of faith. And I say strongly that therefore a Muslim who is conscious cannot be dirty. A Muslim who is conscious of his faith will uphold cleanliness, will not litter, will not defecate openly, will cooperate with government in ensuring that we have a nation that is clean. Indeed, it's charitable to remove any harmful object from the path. It is an issue worthy of the curse of God that you ease yourself at the source of water. the path where people walk, and the shade where people sit to relax. As serious as it is to attract the curse of God, that you cannot do this. When you go upstream and you ease yourself, so therefore you contaminate water, for those who live downstream, you endanger their lives. It's a spiritual responsibility and a social responsibility. So therefore my assurance is in the light of the above. We as Muslims, and indeed I want to stretch it to all other people of different faith, we must be ready to partner with the Ignite group to improve sanitation and protect our environment for development and health on a sustainable basis. I bring you felicitation from the Chief Imam, and I want to assure you that the Chief Imam will be ready. And I who speak to him or for him mobilize our people, and when we are invited, we will, for emphasis, participate and ensure that we have a country that's so worthy of all tourists who come to see the beauty of our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the very profound messages. We went to the diplomatic corps, went to the church, and we've gone to the mosque. And this shows that it's everywhere, every sphere of our society, and we need to pay attention to that. I'll continue with some acknowledgements, and there's a strong team from the Christian Council of Ghana. I'll get to that in a bit, but joining us this morning, we have the Member of Parliament for Fantiakwa South joining us, Duke Ofori Atta. Please, let's appreciate him. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And also, we have former Deputy Chief of Staff, Kenneth Wujangi. Thank you so much. There he is. Thank you so much, sir. And we'll continue with the acknowledgements in a bit. And a lot more people that we have here. And as you can see, all the students coming in from UNIMAC and all the other institutions that we invited. Thank you so much for coming.
We are now going to call.
Oh, you can use this.
We are now going to call the Chief of Staff to give us the keynote address. He's a very patient man. He came, sat in the car for a long time and was waiting for us to invite him in. Let's give him a hand. The Chief of Staff, Honorable Dr. Julius Deborah.
Honorable Ministers here present, Members of Parliament, the Vice Chancellor's representative, the Director, Institute of Environmental and Sanitation Studies, University of Ghana, heads of Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies, the representative of His Royal Majesty the Grand Manche, Niime Naime, and the ambassador from Germany. Good morning to all of you. Every morning before Ghana goes to work, our streets tell a story about us. The drain beside the market, the plastic bottle left on the pavement, the condition of public toilets, the color of a river after heavy rain. These may look like small things. Together, however, they reveal how seriously we take public health and the future we are building for our children. A clean country is therefore not a cosmetic ambition. It is a test of citizenship. It is a test of leadership, and it is a test we must pass together. I am honored to join you this morning for this important conversation. I commend Ignite Media Group for bringing us together and for placing sanitation and environmental sustainability where it belongs, at the center of our national agenda. These issues deserve attention before the rains come again, the drains overflow, or diseases breaks out. When sanitation system works, societies prosper. People are healthier. Hospitals carry lighter burden. Children miss fewer days of school, and workers are more productive. The World Bank estimates that countries lose between 2 and 4% of their GDP each year because of inadequate sanitation. That is money lost, time lost, and human potential lost. Here in Ghana, we have made progress, but we must be honest about the distance still to be traveled. Millions of our people still lack safe household sanitation, and open defecation remains a reality in far too many communities. These are not merely statistics. They describe the daily indignity of fellow citizens. The government of President John Dramani Mahama is determined to close that gap. Through the reset agenda, we are investing in health, water, sanitation, and hygiene, because development must be felt where people live their lives. As Chief of Staff, I have the privilege of helping to translate the President's vision into results that Ghanaians can see and feel. In sanitation, promises means very little unless they show up in clean drains, reliable water, safe toilets, and healthier communities. The 2026 budget allocated more resources to the Ministry of Health and provided targeted resources for water infrastructure. Government is expanding water systems, supporting rural sanitation and hygiene promotion, and strengthening the institutions responsible for cleaner communities. We have also reintroduced the National Sanitation Day, observed on the first Saturday of every month across all 16 regions and 261 districts as part of the broader Clean Up Ghana agenda. But one Saturday alone cannot carry the burden of the entire month. Its objective is just to constantly remind us that we need to keep our environment clean. The cleanliness must become a daily habit, something we must all pay attention to. Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies are being held to a higher standard. The Cleanest City Award will encourage healthy competition amongst assemblies, whilst the performance framework for MMDCs will include clear sanitation indicators. What we measure, we can manage, and what we assign, we must hold people accountable for. Our environmental work goes beyond the streets. The Blue Water Guards are helping to protect water bodies and confront illegal mining. The Tree for Life initiative is restoring degraded landscape while creating opportunities for young people. Clean cities, healthy rivers, and restored forests belong to the same national mission. That mission also requires enforcement. We have laws and bylaws. They must become visible in the way we live. Indiscriminate dumping cannot be tolerated. Houses should not be built without proper toilet facilities. Structures must not be allowed to block waterways and place whole communities at risk. Enforcement must be firm, fair, and consistent. Rules applied only occasionally or only to those without influence will not change the behavior. Government will support relevant agencies to do what the law requires without fear or favor. But there is a third part of this responsibility, and that is all of us, the citizens. Let me make it personal. If I, Julius Debra, were filmed dropping an empty bottle on the street, I know exactly what will follow. The headlines will be loud. Social media will be even louder, and rightly so. The office I occupy places a high burden on example, but I think a lot depends on we as individuals. Yet the deeper reason I should not litter is that I'm a Ghanaian. Not necessarily because of the position I occupy, but the fact that I'm a Ghanaian and my inactions or misbehavior may affect others. If I litter on the street, choke the gutters, and it rains, and your house gets flooded, I am equally responsible for doing that. before our titles, offices, and degrees, we are Ghanaians first and foremost. We owe a duty to one another and to the next generation. We must ensure, because diseases does not ask for title before it enters a home. Floodwater does not distinguish between the powerful and the powerless. Cleanliness must therefore be everyone's responsibility. A few years back, when I used to be the Minister for Local Government, I remember we were trying to introduce awareness about public sanitation. A very well-educated person went on radio and said, "Why must I pay taxes and be responsible for cleanliness?" And people misunderstood us at the time. The issue is not necessarily about you, the individual. Government will provide the garbage cans. They will provide the contractors to tidy up our environment. But if we decide to continue littering indiscriminately, the effort of government may not yield the results that we are all looking for. So I think, Ignite, I will encourage you that going forward, government must be held responsible, but we should inculcate in the citizens the responsibility of first and foremost being aware that we should not be the cause of the littering that will lead to the flooding. Government will lead, but government cannot do this alone. The private sector can adopt a street, a beach, a school, and invest responsibly in waste management. And here, a few examples. I was government. The objective then was to face, which require, as is being done in certain countries, where private institutions are invited to own certain streets. May decide that the street in front of University of Ghana must be our responsibility. Access Bank, Stanbic Bank, and they ensure that the street, in addition to the efforts by government, the street is well kept. In Central Africa in those days, it became very competitive because EcoBank wanted their portion to look nicer than that of their competitors. Casapreco wanted their portion to look beautiful than that of their competitors. And so I will also appeal to you, let us make the appeal and see how beautiful it could be. You could even be an individual. Per matter of discussion, Mr. Kojo Brown decides that the runabout around Independent Avenue, I want to take that responsibility and help government to be acknowledged that the place is properly kept clean. Let's try and see if we can shift to the next gear. The media must make cleanliness a prime-time conversation. Normally, we spend a lot of time talking about the gossips, the politics, and all. And time when people are listening, we spend time on those things. I think we should find another way to see the reality is that if we don't keep our environment clean, all of us will be dead, and make it a prime discussion. Not making environmental cleanliness only a seasonal conversation. That will not take us anywhere. Traditional and religious leaders must continue to teach stewardship. Each citizen must put waste where it belongs. The theme of this conference speaks directly to that shared duty. It brings together SDG 6 on clean water and sanitation, SDG 7 on affordable and clean energy, and SDG 12 on responsible consumption and production. The water we protect, the energy we use, the goods we produce, and the waste we leave behind will shape our children's and future Ghana. With less than 4 years to 2030 deadline, we must ask ourselves some honest questions. Are we moving fast enough? Are our institutions delivering? Are citizens changing their habits? Policy alone can never change. The time for comfortable answers are over. We need to all hold the bull by the horn and push it together as a nation. The recent floods have made the stakes painfully clear. Once again, I extend my heartfelt sympathy to every family that lost a loved one, a home, a livelihood, or